Hello and welcome to the Philippines. Almost from the very first day I arrived here in the Philippines, Cebu City, people have been asking me if I've been to Bantayan Island. And 4 years later, 2019, we finally went to Bantayan Island. Rented a motorbike for a couple of days. Plan on spending 3, maybe 4 days here. And first day we decided to take a trip around the island, and we're going off to some mangroves. There were lots of places to stop and get buko juice and buko meat, and they cut a little piece of the coconut off, so you use that as your spoon. And after you drink the juice out of there, they give you a straw for that. You can eat the meat. Being the adventurous type, we decided to rent a kayak. Even though neither one of us had ever been in a kayak previously, what could possibly go wrong? Anyway, the first thing we noticed was that without back support, your back gets tired real fast, gets sore. You can walk the footpath for 50 pesos a piece, about $1. You can rent a kayak for 150 pesos a piece, about $3. Or you can rent a driver and a boat for 350 pesos per person. They did have some red arrows planted in the mangrove to help direct you to certain directions. I didn't see those at first. I wanted to go off in a different direction. They also had a couple ladies on the footpath kind of say, "Hey, this way," directing us around a little bit. And it was kind of nice because if you're on the footpath, there's lots of places to take a rest. They got little benches and covered places out of the sun where you can take a rest. And they asked, "Do you want to get out and walk?" And we decided to do that because there again, that kayak didn't have any back support at all, and our backs were starting to ache very quickly. At one point, my friend said she had to stand up. She had a cramp in her back. And I said, "No, please don't stand up. You're going to dump us in the water." And I had a couple expensive cameras along. My GoPro is supposed to be waterproof, but it is not entirely waterproof. And maybe I'll talk about that in a future video. But getting out of there, that little plastic kayak is not the stablest thing in the world, so a little tricky getting in and out of it. These mangroves in many parts of the world are where the fish and sea creatures come in to reproduce, and it gives them a safer place to reproduce and raise their young, I guess. And some areas are very, very, very dense. And here's the footpath. The footpath is made, I think, entirely. Those posts are concrete, very strong, but everything else is bamboo, which is also light and very strong. Many islands around the Philippines have these mangrove forests, and these forests, they grow in the salt water, which is pretty amazing. And you look at the root structure, they're growing down at an angle and almost like an umbrella shape, and surviving the low tides and high tides. They also help to protect the land during storms and storm surges. They cut down, reduce the large waves perhaps. And in fact, there were signs along the road a number of places saying that this area is subject to storm surges, and they had evacuation routes. So there are certain places on certain islands that have that. They are subject more so to the storm surges. They had a huge typhoon in 2013, Typhoon Yolanda, and it did a lot of damage to this island and the north third of Cebu Island. This is a very unique experience, and I would recommend it to anybody that is out for a bit of a jaunt. It's not too uncomfortable. I was wearing kind of some water shoes that do not have the hardest soles, and did not bother me walking on these rounded bamboo uh, pathway anyway. On our motorbike trip around the island, we had tried to stay as close to the coast as we could. Wanted to get off the main highway, and therefore occasionally we run into some rough road, some unpaved road, and it was a little bit tricky, but not that bad if you've been on a motorbike before. And then we'd have some paved road and then some unpaved smooth road, so it varied quite a bit. Fortunately, my GoPro did not suffer any water damage, nor my larger Canon DSLR, which is water resistant and seemed to hold up pretty well. Because when you're kayaking, you're going to splash water around. There's just no way around it, unless you're very professional, in my opinion. Anyway, thank you for watching. Gonna have lots of videos coming up about Bantayan Island. And please like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Safe travels to you all wherever you're at, and I'll see you next time.